What is up, everybody? I'm Johnny Blacklight, bro, and today we're going to get into a Reddit story I found recently. This story comes from r/backwoodscreepy. The user is cranberryfree5203, and they think they may have seen a skinwalker. Sounds to me like it could have been a Dogman, though. And I've been on my Dogman thing recently, man, so really interested to get into the story and see what you guys think about it in the comments. So without further ado, let's get into the story. The story is titled, My Skinwalker Experience Outside a Navajo Reservation. I posted this story in a response to other comments, so I might as well post it here as well. The year was 2010, and I was driving back to Los Angeles after Christmas break, I-40 all the way. I ended up getting tired and decided to pull off at the next exit to find a hotel room. This was Holbrook, Arizona, about 40 to 45 minutes east of Flagstaff. I was taking I-40 the whole way. Little did I know, Holbrook is right on the edge of a Navajo reservation. Anyway, I paid for my hotel room, parked around back, and went to unloading my car for food and snacks I would need for the night. There was a parking lot about 10 feet above where my car was parked. I was going along my business, getting together food and everything, when I hear this roar that sent my blood cold. I looked up at the raised parking lot I was parked in front of, and there was standing what I could only describe as a 7 to 8 foot creature with a dog's head and a person's body. It roared again, and I took off running to my room. As I'm fumbling around with the key card, trying to get into the room, it roared again, this time sounding like it was right next to me. I finally got the door open, locked it, took all the sheets and pillows off the bed, and put them in the bathtub and locked that door behind me too. I ended up spending the night in the bathtub, so I'd at least have 2 locked doors between whatever the hell I saw and where I was sleeping. I spent the night looking at what that could have been roaring at me. Haven't even heard of skinwalkers at that point, and figured that was probably what it was. One of the most incredible things to me anyway was that when I saw the skinwalker and ran for my room, I left my Toyota Highlander wide open. All 4 doors open, all the lights on inside, and no one took anything from it. I had thousands of dollars of music equipment in my car, and nothing was touched or stolen at all. Someone could have cleaned me out completely and left me with nothing at all, but no one touched anything. I'll never forget the sound that thing made. It was like a roar of a bear mixed with a pig squealing. I got out of there around 5 a.m. when the sun was coming up, and had to wait in line because there was already a pretty big line out front filled with people waiting for them to open up so they could get liquor. I got to talking to the guy who was behind me just about random stuff, and I couldn't help bringing up what happened the night before. He just laughed and I quote, usually they don't mess with white people, LOL. So that's my skinwalker story. Not completely sure if it wasn't some tweaker dressed up as something creepy. I've made the drive about 20 more times, and I always make sure I make it to Flagstaff before I stop for a hotel room. For those that read this long, thank you. I still have no idea what that thing was, but I was on the edge of a Navajo reservation, so a skinwalker would make sense. Thoughts? Man, this is just a bone-chillingly creepy story, dude. I couldn't imagine staying there after seeing something like that. I feel like I would have just hopped in my car and just got out of there and went, well, anywhere that isn't there. The either second or third roar, I believe it's the third roar that sounds like it's right next to him, man, right before he's getting into the room. That's like something straight out of a freaking horror movie, dude. I couldn't imagine dealing with that. Definitely can't blame the guy for sleeping in the bathroom. If I did stay there, I'd probably try to stay as far away from it as possible. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe skinwalkers usually have like some sort of deer skull type head or some kind of like not deer looking creature. But I have heard that they can shapeshift, so who knows, maybe there is like a Dogman style skinwalker variant out there, and maybe that's what this guy saw. Or maybe Dogmen have some sort of Navajo connection too. I believe there is old Native American folklore around Dogmen, so maybe it was in fact a Dogman, but who knows. The roar described as a bear mixed with a pig squealing is just horrifying. I can totally imagine what that would sound like, and it just sounds so unsettling to me, man. I couldn't imagine actually hearing it and seeing the creature that it's coming from, just standing over there 7 to 8 feet tall. Just a humanoid body with a dog head. That's so frightening. And the fact that he just left his car wide open and all the lights on and had all that stuff in there and none of it was stolen is kind of incredible too. I don't know, this area sounds like it may be a desolate kind of area, so maybe that's why. Maybe there just wasn't a lot of people around that night. I don't know. Or maybe they thought it was some kind of trap, some kind of trick to get people to go over to the car and maybe try to steal something, and then boom, there's somebody there waiting for you or something. Who knows? So maybe that's why his car wasn't stolen from. I'm not sure. Heck, maybe they saw the Dogman creature too and they got the heck out of there before they could steal anything. I don't know. Yeah, man, but I definitely need to look more into the Navajo cryptid lore. I feel like there's a ton of fun stuff we could talk about here on the channel surrounding that kind of stuff. So this story has definitely piqued my interest when it comes to that kind of stuff for sure. And if you know anything about that kind of stuff, feel free to let me know in the comments. But yeah, man, I definitely won't be staying in any desolate area hotel rooms anywhere near any kind of reservations, that's for sure. Who knows the kind of stuff you're going to see and hear out there. Like I said, there's so many weird stories around this kind of stuff. Just creepy spirits and cryptids and sounds and skinwalker type things and not deer, wendigo, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure about this one. I'm not 100% convinced it was a skinwalker or wendigo or something. Sounds to me, like I said, more like Dogman, just the humanoid body with the dog head. That just seems to be the calling card for most of your Dogman encounter stories. Also, it being 7 to 8 feet tall, which I know skinwalkers and wendigo and stuff are described as tall as well, but so is Dogman typically. And I want to say I've heard that like bear, pig squeal kind of description used in Dogman stories too. Like it doesn't quite sound like a wolf or a dog or a bear or a pig, but kind of a mix of all of those things, which is even more horrifying. But I don't know, man, who knows what you're going to run into out in the desert of Arizona, outside of a Navajo reservation. I mean, from all the lore and the things we do know, it could have been anything. Or like he said, maybe it was just a really tall, weird guy in a mask and he's just out there trying to scare people or something. But that sound, man, that kind of gives some legitimacy to it, especially the way the sound travels and sounds like it's right next to him at one point, which is probably one of the scariest parts of this story to me. A lot of times with that kind of stuff, it's like you just know, whenever your blood runs cold, you just have that goosebump feeling and you know something's just not right. I think that's your body just trying to tell you, like, that fight or flight kicking in, and it's just like, man, what is this thing? I got to get out of this. And then just a natural instinct to just barricade yourself inside a room like that. Can't blame the guy at all. Like I said, I'd probably be down the road and just get out of there as quick as possible. But who knows the relation of like where the creature was and where his car was with all his doors open like that. He might not have had the time to do that. He might have been closer to the door, to the room to get in there and just kind of barricade in versus jumping in the car and leaving. I don't know. But yeah, this story definitely makes me want to look more into, like I said, the Navajo Reservation stuff and Navajo lore, and also the Holbrook, Arizona area, and see if we have any more sightings or weird things around there. Maybe something similar that can kind of help us connect some of the dots and see if we can figure out what this thing was. But yeah, man, definitely some super interesting, unexplainable stuff in this story. And like I said before, let me know in the comments, for one, what you think of this and what you think this actually was, concerning this story. Also, let me know if you've ever had any encounters similar to this. I'd definitely love to hear those. And let me know what you know about Navajo or any kind of Native American lore and cryptids and creatures like that. Because these unknown spirits and creatures and stuff is just super interesting to me. I mean, I could look into and talk about this stuff all day. So give me some rabbit holes to go down and we'll go down them. But yeah, man, I think that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe for more. Y'all have a good one. And I'll see you next time.